Hello, I would like to talk to you a little bit about volume. Today we're going to go over lots of different formulas for different shapes. Volume, like you've learned in science, is really how much space something takes up. And there's lots of formulas that we can use. Volume is three-dimensional. So when we have a label, we usually, let's say we have centimeters, we are going to put our answers in centimeters cubed or inches cubed or feet to the third power, if that makes sense. Before, when we did two-dimensional objects, we would say centimeters squared with a little 2. So that's how volume is a bit different. We are taking 3 different dimensions and multiplying them together. I think of it like length, times width times height. So there are 3, I am having a horrible time spelling. There are 3 things that we, oh my gosh, there we go. 3 things, 1, 2, 3, that we are multiplying together 3 dimensions to get volume. So let's take a look at the first item that we'll have is the rectangular prism. And you can see that we are taking side A times side B times C. So I'm going to get, let's try the yellow. We're going to take A times B times C. So if I was to throw in numbers, let's say A is 2. So we would know that we are going to use 2 times, let's say B is 10, and let's say that C is 20. So to get volume of this rectangular prism, 2 times 10 is 20 times 20. I believe this is 400, and I'm going to say inches cubed. So our volume is 3 dimensions, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We multiply them together, and that's our final answer. It means that there could fit 400 little cubes that are an inch by inch inside this shape. That's the volume. One easier type of formula to use is that of a cube. We know that a cube has the same sides all over. It's like a square, but it's a cube, so it's 3-dimensional. So this one says A cubed, or A times A times A. When we look with the yellow, this side is the same as this, the length and the height, and the same as the width, however you want to look at it. So this one's pretty simple. We would take volume and make this easy for myself. I'm going to say that each side is 2. So we would say 2 times 2 times 2. Or we would say 2 cubed. Let me make it small. Oops. And we know that 2 times 2 times 2, or 2 cubed, is 8. Let's use inches again. This means that the volume of this shape is 8 inches cubed, or 8 little inch by inch by inch cubes could fit inside this. Okay, so we've done rectangular prism, which you're going to have a lot of problems with, and we did a cube. It's a little bit more special. Takes a little less thinking because you're not looking at lots of numbers. You're looking at the same numbers. Now let's move on to cylinders. We're talking, a cylinder is a circle. So if I was to draw it, it's kind of like, this is my circle, and then really the same shape is on the bottom. They're the same. And then there's a length component. So this is really what a cylinder is. That. And with cylinders and circles, we know that we're talking about a center, we're talking about a radius, that's what R is. And whenever we deal with circles, we talk about pi. It's written pi here. You know that there's also the Greek symbol, and it's if you were rounding, it would be 3.14. So let's take a look at this equation. It says B. B stands for base. So if I was to color in a base, yellow, this is a base. This is what the B is talking about. B. And It's can be confusing because B means the area of the shape. So it's not just one number, not just one letter. You're going to be doing work to figure out what the area of that is, and then that's 2 dimensions. You're going to take it times a third dimension, the length. So really, that means pi r squared times the height. So this part is pi r squared. And this looks real funny. It looks like here. And then this part over here is the h. So if I was to come up with some numbers, let's say that the radius of this is 10. Let's say that the height of this is 20. And I should be able to fill in all that I need to know. I'm going to use a calculator because I don't know this stuff off the top of my head. Volume is pi r squared. If it's, I don't know, well, it takes a little bit to put in the actual symbol. Here, where is it? There it is. That's the symbol, pi, and then we have r, and we're going to square it. So make it real small so you don't get confused. Okay, so now that we have that, know what happened. We are going to fill in our numbers. Pi, I'm just going to use 3.14, and I am going to times it by our r, which is 10, and we're supposed to square that. I forgot part of this. Oh gosh. I'm getting ahead of myself. You know what I forgot? That is just the yellow. That line's the circle. I forgot to times it by the h over here. So let me put an h. That's not small. And let me put an h over here. The h is 20. So we really need to multiply this by 20. So I'm going to grab a calculator and figure out what this is. Okay, so I'm supposed to put in 3.14. I'm supposed to times it by 10 squared. There's no square on here. I know that 10 squared is 100, so I skipped a step because it's in my brain. And then I'm supposed to multiply it by 20. So the volume of this shape is 6,280, let's say, centimeters cubed. Kind of confusing because it's a cylinder and we think with our brain that it's really hard to put in cubic, like perfect little cubes. But this one worked out, and that's really how it works. Okay, so that's volume of a cylinder. You have to find the area here and then multiply it by the h. So if you could just remember pi r squared h, you're in good shape. Sometimes you have to radial prism, and this one means like there's a funky shape and then it's extended with a height. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to try and find the base, whatever this funky shape is, area, and then multiply it by the height. I'm not going to do a problem like this with you. You're just going to rely on the formula because your irregular shapes could be all sorts of different things. There's so many different types. So we're going to one. The last is this sphere. And I know this shape looks just saying three-dimensional, like what a ball is, what an orange is. So to find that, we are going to use the formula 4/3, 4/3 times pi, which is really 3.14, right? Rounded. If your teacher doesn't want you to round, you better use that calculator button. I don't have the pi calculator button, so I'm using 3.14. And then we're supposed to take the radius, and we are supposed to cube it to find that volume of a sphere. So let's make up some numbers. Let's just say that our radius is 2. I want to fill in some easy numbers. Okay, let's say that, it's 2. So here we go. Volume 4/3 times 3.14 times 2 cubed. We should remember what cubed is from our last problem, but if we don't, it's okay. It's 8. Volume equals 4/3 times 3.14 times going to get in my calculator and do that. Oh, my calculator. Okay, clear. I have to do 4 fraction 3. Okay, it's 1 1/3 times 3.14 times 8. And check it out, I got a weird, crazy decimal, and this is going to happen sometimes. But that's because it's difficult to think of putting perfect little cubes inside the shape. It's a sphere. I've already forgot my number. 2143. 2143.573. Let's just say 57. And let's say this is in inches cubed. So that means that 2,143.57 perfect little cubes could fit in that sphere. And that's what it is. So I hope this helps you remember or know how to use the formulas. You'll probably always have the formulas. Maybe in high school you'll need to remember them. But volume is all about 3 dimensions. That's why we have a cube at the end of our label.